You know, it feels like yesterday when we just did a video about how dated yet how superb the 765 LT Spider really is. I mean superb. This is a phenomenal driving car, and if you watch my little road review that I've had this now for a couple of months, I've enjoyed it and it rattles a little bit, but outside of that, it's a pretty phenomenal car. Then you know that I do enjoy and like this car. And you know I don't sugarcoat things here at Exotic Car Hacks because we're about the truth. We're not paid by any manufacturer to review their cars. These are my personal cars and I can say whatever I want about them. And this particular one was phenomenal. So I'll tell you what. Now I say it was phenomenal because yesterday night I got a phone call that this car has now been sold. So one of the things at Exotic Car Hacks is we teach you how to buy, enjoy, and then sell and get out of your exotic car so you don't have to lose money. And sometimes that involves getting out of cars a little bit earlier than expected. But I don't know if you recall, when I bought this car, actually you can go back and read the comments, I paid $675,000 for this car 4 months ago, 4.5 months ago, at the peak of the exotic car market before the softening in November and December. So if we looked at that, many people, including many of you guys on the channel, said that I was out of my mind because this was a 500K car and I had almost paid 200K over sticker, and that was insanity, and that was never going to hold, and it was going to get shattered, and blah 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 blah, and I'm never going to get my money back, and blah 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 blah. So I want to just make a statement here for 1 second. There's a reason I'm Exotic Car Hacks guy and you're not, because I do this a lot. And so magically, this car, not magically, but just because it was advertised on eBay, sold last night for $679,000, being listed for $699,000, taking 20K less of an offer, but yet breaking not only even, but making $4,000 on the ownership. Now, you may wonder, what about taxes? What about insurance? If you're new to the channel and don't understand these things, that's why we're called Exotic Car Hacks. You can go in the description and not only take a free training on how to actually get into car hacking, because it's the best way to actually afford a car and buy the most incredible car you never thought you could afford without losing any money. But then too, you can also join our community where you can get access to resources where you don't have to worry about taxes and, more importantly, insurance when owning an exotic car. So definitely click the links in the description and go do that. But this car has now sold at a $4,000 profit. Now, does this matter? Well, what can I do with $4,000? Absolutely nothing. I can't even wipe my ass with $4,000. But what I can do, and what I would tell you is impressive, is that there was about 800 miles of driving that happened completely free on this car. And the only reason it brought that kind of money is what I teach you guys all the time: spec, spec, spec. Just look at it. It's this beautiful MSO baby blue, completely custom interior from McLaren with matching calipers and LT logos. And not only does it have all carbon options, but it's also Alaskan white, which is only offered on a P1. So this was a very rare colored car that on the surface people weren't noticing on the internet. So, you know, when it went for sale at Newport Beach McLaren, I just immediately popped it, especially because I thought I originally lost it because someone else was going to buy it. Then it went offline and came back. I immediately bought it. So long story short, $4,000 later, I did it. I bought one of the cars that everybody said would crash in the highest peaked exotic car market in history, and I sold it in the after the Lord market at yet a profit. If this isn't forecasting, I don't know what is, but this is why I do what I do, because I go with data and it works. So an incredible experience. It is going to be absolutely missed. I will tell you, if you've been looking to buy 765 LT right now, you should consider a few things. I would wait. The market has softened, more cars are appearing, and you're going to see some downward pressure. The majority of cars, just not incredible specs, are still going to be bringing much lower than they were bringing a while back, like probably around 100 over right now instead of 200. And you're going to also be looking at coupes bringing 50 to 70 over, but mainly these spiders are going somewhere where you're going to be looking at 50 over, or basically near MSRP in the future, not immediately, but in the future. This is why it was important to get rid of this car. Despite loving it, money over emotions always makes sense, but in this particular case, it is going to be missed. It was an incredibly fun time. A lot of car for the money, honestly, guys, like a lot of car, and I highly recommend it as a car. I believe the 720S platform is dated as a platform, like it's kind of old now. Someone argued with me, well, what are you talking about? The Aventador platform is much older, not as cool, and whatever is a 720S platform. I would argue that Lamborghini Aventador and V12 platforms have been such timeless designs for generations that it is not even comparable from a design standpoint. And while I believe this car is beautiful as well, I do believe this design isn't as timeless as an Aventador. And while I can agree that this is certainly a beautiful car and that it's incredibly spec'd and beautiful, I still believe that there is still a separation of how incredibly design driven these are compared to Aventadors, which are not even close. So from a design standpoint, Aventador SVJ all day. From a driving standpoint, this was a lot of fun, a lot of excitement, very usable, and quite brutal when you got on it. So highly recommend it if you haven't bought one. Wait around, get a coupe with a roof scoop at a great price for a great spec. You can probably find a deal out there. And otherwise, the 765 was definitely a great experience. So I don't speak positively of a lot of cars. This was a positively spoken about car, and it was fantastic. So I can't recommend enough. So if you want to learn how to do this, get in, get out without losing any money, again, click the links in the description and join us. And of course, for more videos like this, like, subscribe, turn on notification. And this has been the final update for the 765. Goodbye.